Thank you for joining us. I'm Clara Benitez Cortez.
And I'm Andy Lascano. The Nueces County Auditor gives new information on the cyber scam that cost the county $2 million.
Some of that money has been recovered. We've also got an update on how this incident is impacting some county employees.
Here's what else is making news in your neighborhood.
I'm Suzanne Stevens. City politics may be local, but the fallout is reaching all the way to Wall Street. Why it could be costing you, coming up.
A community mourns the loss of a 14-year-old boy, Amanaconejo, in Mathis, where a mother is working towards bringing awareness to gun safety.
We're all pretty familiar with credit scores. If you've got a good score, it's easier to buy a car, a house, or even take out a loan.
Well, it's harder to do all of that when you've got a bad credit score, and that, in a nutshell, is the situation the city of Corpus Christi could find itself in soon. City officials are going to meet later this week with Moody's. That's one of the country's oldest and most influential credit assessment companies. And that meeting had been set for October, but it's been moved up to this week. City also works with two other credit rating companies, Standard & Poor's and Fitch. The meeting with Moody's is to discuss concerns that the city's credit rating may decrease. And if that happens, well, of course, that'll make it harder for the city to get financing for anything from road projects to utilities maintenance. So why is all of this happening? Senior neighborhood news reporter Suzanne Stevens picks up the story from there.
I'm Suzanne Stevens. Think of the city's credit rating like your own. If yours drops, loans and credit cards cost you more. In the case of the city, those costs are still passed along to you in the form of higher utility bills.
If it's got to be done, it's got to be done. Sometimes things are painful.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And progress,
Progress is painful.
Yeah.
That reality check comes as Moody's accelerates its review of the city of Corpus Christi's finances. In a letter addressed to City Manager Peter Zanoni, the agency says it's concerned about reserve levels, water rates, and long-term supply planning. At last week's City Council meeting, the city's own financial consultant warned this could be coming after Council voted down a proposed water rate increase and further funding for Inner Harbor desal.
Already, there's decisions have been made that are alerting rating agencies and potentially bond investors about, is the city of Corpus Christi worth investing in? And
Councilwoman Carolyn Vaughn believes the Moody's review is being spun for political reasons.
Someone released that letter to the press, put it whatever, on purpose so it would look like it was desal. The reason that you got the Moody's letter had to do with the discussion on wastewater last week where we did not want to raise the rates.
And because of that, she says, a rate increase is unavoidable.
Me, of all people, I'm not one that wants to raise anything, but I understand this. We don't want to go backwards in the city.
In a statement, City Manager Peter Zanoni said the city is committed to sound financial management and will work closely with the city's financial advisor to prepare for this important meeting. Outside City Hall, some residents say taxpayers shouldn't be left holding the bag.
It's horrible. Why do we have to pay more for their decisions, their bad decisions?
That Moody's review takes place September 12th, and the outcome could ripple all the way to your water bill. At City Hall, I'm Senior Neighborhood News Reporter Suzanne Stevens, KRIS 6 News.
Suzanne, thanks for that report. Now, a quick footnote. The city has a credit score just like you and I. However, cities use a letter grade scale. For instance, the highest grade a municipal government can get is a AAA rating. That means a lower financial risk for investors. After that, there's a AA rating, an A rating, and a BAA rating, and finally a C rating. A city that gets a C rating means they're a very high risk for investors.
And last week, Nueces County announced they were a victim of a cyber attack, nearly losing $2 million. But today they had some good news. Half of that money has been recovered due to insurance. The other half is still under investigation with the bank. According to the county judge, Connie Scott, the county was able to secure a cyber attack policy back in June, helping recover funds from those attacks. Now, overall, there was 5 attacks, 3 of which resulted in the county losing money. According to the interim auditor, an employee received a phishing email.
Well, anytime something with your banking information is changed, we're supposed to be contacting the person directly, and not with the number that's on the email, but with the number that we have on file. And so that is what we are enforcing now.
Now, before this, there was no written policy telling employees to follow this procedure, so no employee was disciplined. The FBI is working on the case along with the Sheriff's Department.
A 14-year-old boy is dead, and police blame an accidental shooting. Amana Conejo, your neighborhood news reporter in Mathis, I spent the day with a teenager's mother who hopes that no other parent goes through what she's going through.
I know you didn't mean to hurt my mama heart, but you did.
Tears form in Stephanie Black's eyes as she stares at a picture of her 14-year-old son, Deshaun Pope.
And I know my kid, he went to take a picture holding that gun. I don't know how or what made him pull that trigger.
According to Mathis police, Deshaun accidentally shot himself. His mother says he went out with his friends on Saturday, but never came back.
At least 4 of the boys have told me we were going fishing. We were getting ready to go fishing. And there was a gun and he picked it up.
The Mathis high schooler and athlete is now being remembered for his jokes, his big heart, and for his horse named Avocado.
Most people at Mathis know my kid from the boy on the horse.
Deshaun's mother says she's grateful for the community support that's been pouring in.
It feels really good to see how many lives my kid actually touched.
Now hoping her tragedy is someone else's lesson.
Keep your hands off of these guns. They are not your friends.
And hope nearby teens take away how dangerous guns can be.
The chief of Mathis tells us his officers are still investigating. As of Deshaun Pope's family, they set up an online fundraiser. You can find that on our website at KRISTV.com. Reporting in Mathis, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Ana Conejo, KRIS 6 News.
Ana Conejo, thanks for that report. The Nueces County Medical Examiner's Office has identified the man who died in that pedestrian accident just last week. He's identified as 85-year-old Andres Rodela. According to police, about 8:30 last Wednesday morning, Rodela was crossing Ruth Street near the Wiggins homes when he was hit by a vehicle. Rodela died later that day. Police say he was at fault because he didn't use the Ruth Street crosswalk.
An Alice ISD student has been detained by police for allegedly making threats, but no details are being released about the student or the nature of the threat. District officials say the threat was made against students and staff. It was discovered online through the district's social media alert system. The Alice chief of police says the threat was made just after noon at the high school.
And what was discovered was a manifesto that was created. Because of the manifesto and because of the information, the subject was detained. And so we will continue with our investigation at this point in time.
Now, the Alice police chief says the investigation into this threat has not wrapped up. Now, clouds and some rain took some of the edge off this heat this past weekend.
And it was welcome, wasn't it? It was very hot. But what's ahead for the brand new work week, Stephanie Lauber?
I wish it was even more rain because this weekend fared pretty nicely for us. Yeah. Very cool photos and even video dropped into our Coastal Bend Weather Watchers Facebook group. So if you maybe didn't get rain in your neighborhood, very few of us can say that, go on and see where we did catch some cool rainfall this weekend. I say cool because temperatures are definitely benefiting. Right now, not so much rain. Things are really winding down. The last of the sprinkles in our southern neighborhoods near Hebronville and just offshore of Kennedy County, but we're generally entering a drier weather pattern for now. So some things to keep on your radar, if I can say it that way. We're going to have some cooler temperatures tonight. That's something to celebrate. Our lows will be near the 70s as we start things out tomorrow morning. Typical temps and more rain. I'll tell you what to expect coming up.
The first week of Warrant Resolution Month has come and gone, but you still have time to take care of any unpaid tickets or fines and avoid a trip to jail. You can also take care of any active warrants for a Class C misdemeanor. So from now until the end of the month, the end of September, just go to Corpus Christi Municipal Court Monday through Friday, 8 in the morning till 4:30 in the afternoon. And the court's even extending hours on Thursdays all the way to 7 p.m. You can also pay online or over the phone, but if you need to speak to a judge about alternative options, well, then you're going to need to appear in person at Municipal Court. And on Saturday, September 20th, there's going to be a community court at the Janet F. Hart Library from 9 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. Corpus Christi City Council expected to vote tomorrow on an ordinance to create Tax Increment Reinvestment Zone 7, or TIRZ 7. The proposed TIRZ is in the London area. So far, 2 development projects have been proposed for the area. Money generated from the creation of TIRZ 7 would help fund those projects. One of them is the Mirabella development, a 300-acre, 1,100-home project with parks, resort-style pool, community center, and recreation fields. The other project is called The Proper. It's a 441-acre mixed-use and residential development. If the city approves the ordinance, the next step will be to get agreements from Nueces County and Del Mar College, because along with the city, they're the other 2 taxing entities that would take part in TIRZ 7.
Now expect delays along parts of Ocean Drive throughout the coming week, and Ocean Drive has been reduced to 1 lane of traffic between Robert Drive and Airline Road. This is only for traffic headed towards downtown. The traffic change is due to some road work that began today. The work is expected to wrap up in about a week.
An urgent care is coming to Aransas Pass, but will it be enough for the area's EMS? I'm Adam Beam, sitting down with those first responders to see what challenges they face.
You're watching KRIS 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
I'm your Aransas Pass neighborhood news reporter, Adam Beam. Last week, I told you that an urgent care was coming to this community. Now, I'm sitting down with those on the front line to see how they feel about the new additions and the differences it could make. When we first reported that Aransas Pass would get its own urgent care, it came with excitement and concerns.
I think this actually needs to be a life-saving center, a place that is open 24/7.
It will be the city's first major medical facility since Hurricane Harvey. Carrie De Leon is the executive director of Tri-County EMS, which covers Aransas Pass and Ingleside. She tells me that in the 8 years since Harvey, the distance between emergency facilities has created numerous obstacles for her team.
If we have a patient in cardiac arrest, the longer we take to get to the hospital, the less chance the person is to survive that event.
But De Leon says that the future urgent care facility will help bring some welcome relief for residents, but she adds that EMS services cannot transport to those facilities due to matters of insurance.
Yeah, insurance companies tell us that we have to transport to an emergency room.
Meaning that any serious or life-threatening injuries will still likely require driving all the way to Corpus Christi. And while their ambulances can handle most emergency situations,
that distance, we're able to fill that role in the 18 to 25 minutes that it takes us to transport to Corpus Christi.
The distance continues to be a concern. De Leon is hoping for even bigger changes in the future.
I think that if we were all to get together and work on this project as a collaborative effort, it would be more successful, especially with educating the public on the needs of having a hospital.
De Leon says that while the urgent care is still in the works, local options like Amistad are available. But of course, always call 911 in an emergency. Reporting in Aransas Pass, I'm Adam Beam for KRIS 6 News.
Adam Beam, thanks for that report. The Army veteran, or an Army veteran of the Vietnam War, who's been featured in our Veterans in Focus reports, was honored today by Clayburgh County Commissioners.
We're talking about Purple Heart recipient Lázaro O. Camarillo III. For his service to his country, Camarillo was presented with a custom-made quilt, as you can see right there. He was also presented with a certificate of recognition from the U.S. Congress. Camarillo served in Vietnam from 1969 to 1970. One of the engagements he fought in was the Battle of Hamburger Hill. It was one of the bloodiest battles of the war.
This means a lot. I accept the award on the behalf of all my brothers and sisters who didn't make it back to the world, their families. On the behalf of them, I accept this award.
Now, the quilt presented to Camarillo was made by a group of women in San Antonio who made them to honor them. Have you been to Fredericksburg recently? And did you buy a Powerball ticket by chance?
No and no. The right answer to those questions, however, could be worth several hundreds millions of dollars. Millions. We're going to talk about that when we come back.
Hey there, happy Monday. We didn't have a bad weekend overall. I know a lot of us just want way more rain, right? But we didn't do too badly. I've got a rolling total beginning at midnight on Saturday and including the watershed. This is how our rainfall event panned out. And when we start thinking about how things were scattered, maybe you got rain on Saturday, didn't really see anything on Sunday. Maybe you missed out on Saturday, only saw Sunday. Some of us, especially the more farther north you go in the coastal bend toward the Victoria Crossroads, made out on both days. So let's talk about it. In the watershed, it was really the northern extent of our watershed that did best. And this is a big win right here. All these bright colors just to the southeast of San Antonio is huge for us because that's where the worst drought in all of Texas is right now. So that is going to help to chip away at that. And once we start getting these soils more hydrated, that means we can get more runoff into our water supply. Speaking of which, Choke Canyon didn't do too bad. We picked up anywhere to about an inch, we'll call it, around Choke Canyon. Some places had isolated higher totals. Lake Corpus Christi, however, really just a few sprinkles around the lake. Didn't do too well. And if you're on that more northwest side of the lake, you actually fared better than your neighbors around the rest of Lake Corpus Christi. Now, across the coastal bend at large, we really didn't see an inch, but many of us made it to a few tenths of an inch. The airport, for the most part, made it over that quarter-inch mark, and that is a huge win for us. And today, really not much for rainfall at all across most neighborhoods. But either way, temperatures have been tame. 90 was the peak of the roller coaster ride today in Corpus Christi, and then we brought it back down to the 80s here over the past few hours. You might even be surprised to know our high temperature today, 91 degrees. That is actually a little bit below our average high temperature. What we expect for this time of year is actually 92, so not too bad. But overall, we need to get more rainfall in the forecast. I do have some other opportunities in the 7-day forecast, so we'll look at that in a moment. But let's talk more about the temperatures, because with the KRIS 6 Neighborhood Weather Network, we tap into those Tempest home weather stations you have. And in the Beeville neighborhood, that means we're sitting in the upper 80s right now. Taking it further south into Kingsville, same deal, hanging out in the upper 80s. And guess what? For some of those coastal neighborhoods, we are not that far off. In Fulton, we're hanging out in those middle to upper 80s. But we're going to be feeling much better into the overnight. The next couple of hours, not feeling too bad, because we are looking at less humidity, meaning our air temperatures and actual air temperatures compared to the feels like is going to be way more comfortable, especially into tomorrow morning, because our winds are coming from a slightly drier direction. The change is starting to happen in some of our more northern and western neighborhoods. That east-northeast wind direction is going to keep our relative humidity overnight fairly tame. Instead of being in the 90% range, we're going to keep it under 90 and be feeling more fresh. So if you're taking the pup out for a walk, should be a pretty comfortable one. ITZY is our star for today, and we're going to be expecting those temperatures to be feeling good as we make it down to about 80 degrees by midnight. Now, our front has wiggled far to our south. There's still some showers to the north of it, but in general, we're looking at drier air in our forecast. So what does that mean for your Tuesday? Well, we're looking at a whole lot of sunshine. That means warmer temperatures, but I still think we'll keep it in those middle 90s. For the rain forecast, we're going to have to wait until the end of the week, say about Friday, for that rain forecast to come through. So your 7-day forecast in Corpus Christi is going to be one that gives us a little bit of hope, and cooler temperatures are always something to celebrate. Here's a look at the next 7 days.
Well, in case you haven't heard, 2 tickets sold in Missouri and in Texas match all 6 numbers for Saturday night's Powerball jackpot.
That jackpot was worth nearly $1.8 billion. No details released on where the Missouri ticket was sold, but we do know that the Texas ticket was sold right here at Biggs in Fredericksburg. It's just a few hours drive from here. And the person who bought the ticket hasn't come forward.
If they choose the lump sum payment option, each ticket holder wins just over $410 million before taxes. The Biggs gas station will get $250,000 for a bonus because they sold the winning ticket. And it's not known how much of a bonus the Missouri location will get.
How much do we get?
Even if you sell the ticket, wow, that's a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of the providers, that's part of the kickback is as the winning seller, they get a little something from it. Can we get a little rain? How much does it cost to buy a shower? How much would this one cost? This is a great photo sent in by one of our weather watchers, and it's our weather watcher photo of the week. So thanks, Tiffany. It was a view of storms rolling into Gregory. Now, will the Gregory neighborhood see any more rain this week? I sure hope so, because I'm hoping on some tail end of the week showers for us on Friday.
Hopefully. Well, thank you so much. We'll see you here tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see you tonight at 10 with more news from your neighborhood. See you then.